All right, everybody. Hey, this is Dave Wood, and I'm here with Ari Maccabi. He is an internet marketing and network marketing legend in my book. And if you don't know Ari, you will after tonight. I highly encourage, by the way, following him online. You can follow him on Facebook. Just look up his name, and we'll also put a link to his profile here and tag him in this. But if you're watching this, you are in for a treat because Ari's story is powerful and it's a little gut wrenching. You know what I mean? He has massively been through some ups and downs on his way to the very big success that he has now. And of course, I've known him. The last couple of years, we've got to know each other, a little bit deeper as well. And he's really given me, good advice, good thoughts, stuck there with me when I was going through some rough times as well. Because I know he's been through some rough times, and he'll tell you about that tonight. And today, he really lives the dream. I mean, really, like he's in the Philippines, a beautiful wife, beautiful family. He's happy. He's making a lot of money. Everything that he touches turns to gold. He starts a project, it gets to the top. He joins a network marketing company, it goes to the top. He becomes the number one recruiter, number one income earner. He started his own companies, his own coaching companies. We had Darren Little on a few weeks ago. He's been partners with Darren Little, partners with some of the top people in the industry. And he's really got a lot of wisdom. Today we're going to talk about how he got from the bottom to the top, the rags to the riches, the gut-wrenching stories that he went to. And the best part is this is late at night, so as you're watching, you're kind of in a dreamlike state. This is just gonna, I hope, soak in, and I hope you listen to what he says because it can really change your life. So that being said, Eric, why don't we just start with, first of all, thank you for coming on the Dave Wood Show here. And why don't we start by talking about your story and your background and kind of how you got to where you are today. I know you have a long story, but share as much of it as you like, and I'll be here kind of asking questions and stuff as we introduce you.
Yeah, no problem, Dave. No problem. Like, it's funny, man. Dave and I actually met on a call one day at Numis Network. You remember that?
Yeah, a long time
that
ago.
Was forever ago, bro. Like so long ago. Guys, I'm a simple person. I grew up in a small town, and we only had about 5,000 people actually in the town where I grew up. And everybody knew everybody. It's like that's just how I've always been, one of those type of people that, you're close to people and so on and so forth. But, my life, unfortunately, I was never really close to my family. And I went away when I was 17 in the military and got, lucky because we were at war. We had the Desert Storm first war. I actually never went, but the day the war ended, I was actually leaving to go join the war. So I got super, super lucky. And, when I was in the military, I got on a TV show. I was there in California for 3 weeks, actually filmed my first episode 3 weeks in. And it was literally by, freak accident, that I ended up on a TV show just because of basketball. Literally, I started playing basketball as a little kid. I played in college actually after I got out of the military for a couple of years. But what was funny is I met a guy on a basketball court. It turned out to be the image of Soul Train. He got me on Soul Train, and I kind of became semi-famous, in that circle, the dance circle, and the hip hop circle in Southern California. And friends with a lot of people in the music business. Got into the movie and music business for a little while. Spent about a decade playing around in that business. And meanwhile, I'm working in the car business part-time. I'm also doing network marketing part-time. I mean, I'm a hustler. Like that's just how I've always been. I'm not afraid of work. And, to me, it's like I get up every day with the intention to make like $1,000, $2,000 ever since I was a kid. So like, that's always been my goal, is to get out and hustle, make money. And I really, honestly, I took a lot of risk in doing shit that I probably should have did, over the years. But it got to a point where, I got married in the military. It wasn't a good situation. I ended up going through an annulment. And then I got remarried, had 2 boys. And unfortunately, the mom got addicted to drugs. I'm working about 80 hours a week, plus I'm driving about an hour each way. So I was gone literally about 90 to 100 hours every week out of my house. And she got addicted to drugs. It was unfortunate. Our life kind of collapsed and, ended up having to walk away from the car business for a little bit because I got custody of 2 little boys that were just 3 years old. And the youngest one was 7 months at the time. It was a tough thing, man. It was a really tough thing. I packed my shit one day, drove 37 hours straight back to Kansas City, where I was from Oregon. And I told my parents, I said, I'm coming back. I'm going to need a little help because I got full custody of the boys. Well, I get back there was nobody to help me. It was just me, and I ended up walking away from the car business completely after, working another year in the car business back in Kansas City. And I got into the mortgage business on a whim. And it's kind of weird, how it all happened, because my first couple months in the mortgage business, man, I was starving. I wasn't making any money. And then the third month, I decided, this guy's not training me. He's not teaching me. I want to learn everything. I took off and went to California, back to California, actually, to go to an FHA course and learn all this stuff about mortgages. Then the following month, I was the number 2 guy on the company board, for as many mortgages as we did that month. The next month, I was the number 1 salesman. And every month thereafter, I was the number 1 salesman on that board. And, I should say mortgage professional on that board. But, it's a sales job, really. No matter what you're looking at, it's a sales job, even though you're doing a mortgage. And, it's kind of weird, Dave. Like for me, when I got back and was knocking all this out, I realized, man, I really didn't need somebody else to take a percentage of my mortgages. I could do this myself. So I went out and I found a company that did what they call a net branch. And what a net branch is, basically, I would do a mortgage, use their license. I pay them like $350 a file. And I thought, wow, that's a great concept. It's really cool. And after a short bit of time, I decided I was going to get my own mortgage broker's license. So I started going back to school, taking some classes, doing all that. Got my mortgage license. And then a buddy that I was playing basketball, found out he was actually doing mortgages too. He had his own company. But he was doing all subprime, and I was doing mainly A-paper, jumbo loans and stuff like that. I used to have 2 black boxers. I used to walk them up and down State Line, the subdivision over off State Line between Kansas City on the Missouri side and the Kansas side. Really expensive subdivisions, and I would pick up all these jumbo loans. So I was making money hand over fist, but I was doing this all out of my house while I was being a parent to my dad or my kids, And it was just awesome, man, to be able to see every second of every day with my kids, man. I mean, it was great. The 3-year-old would go to kindergarten. The little one would be at the house with me. We'd be hanging out, playing. I'd be doing work. I'd be making money. I'd make a couple grand for the day. And then I would go and spend time with my kids. I just got used to that lifestyle. And, I remember, when I was a kid, I was doing A.L. Williams. I had made really good money with A.L. Williams while I was playing around in the music and movie business. And a guy from the old days actually came to town to meet a buddy of his, and turned out that guy I actually knew from the old days in the mortgage or in the A.L. Williams days. And I ended up joining network marketing again, got back into it. And since then, I've never really left, but I've kind of exited for a lot of affiliate stuff. But, it's just it's tough, because, my boy's mom, she passed away. I had to struggle from all of that. I just up and downs, man, ups and downs, Dave. You know how it is. I mean, you've been through them yourself, and it creates a lot of turmoil in your life. When you're going up and down, what people don't realize is when you're walking away from a job or walking away from something, your income's up here. Everything that you're doing in your life is all set up here, but then all of a sudden you don't have the income to support your life. So for a couple of times in my life prior to this, I've talked about it before. I've made millions of dollars. I went broke. I made millions of dollars. I went broke. And I've always told myself, man, if I make money again, I'm never doing it like I used to. I'm going to live simple as can be. And, like when I first came to the Philippines, people don't realize I literally came here. I had like $3,100 and some dollars, $3,140 in my pocket. That's all I had. It was everything I had to my name. I had sold everything, packed everything up. I had gotten remarried again, found a girl cheating on me. It just devastated me. I went into depression for 18 months. I didn't work. I was literally tried to kill myself 3 times, packed my shit, hopped on a plane one way to get away from my friends, to come to the Philippines actually to kill myself. That's the truth.
Oh, so you went there to kill yourself. Like, that's why you went to the Philippines.
I wanted to find some peace, man, and get away from people, because my friends in Arizona were coming by my house. Some of them weren't leaving my house. Anytime I tried to do anything, they wouldn't let me do it, And I was just miserable. I just didn't want to be here. And I came here, man, to the Philippines. And if you know anything about Filipinos, they're very warm. They're very, they are just, man, the nicest people, literally. I mean, they got some things that are a little awkward to frustrate me, yes. But as people, you have to love the Filipino people. They're just amazing individuals, and they're so warm. They don't like to fight and argue. They very rarely raise their voice. They're just compassionate people towards each other. And it's I shouldn't say it's a poor country. There's a lot of really rich things here. But there's a lot of people here that don't have any money or enough to survive. And, they live off like $10, $12 a day. And when you look at that, you're sitting there like, wow, this this is crazy, you know. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, why am I depressed when I'm seeing what this person has endured and they're still standing on their feet? And it gave me some hope. It gave me some inspiration. And then, you know, when I met Risa, you know, honestly, like she just literally, she made me feel so much different about myself. She was just awesome. She was the kindest, sweetest person I've ever met. And, you know, obviously it was easy to fall in love with. I fell in love with her. You know, we had a couple kids. You know, I'm in my condo right now, because we're doing some things to our house. We're growing our house a little bit more. But God has blessed us. You know, my wife actually built a house out in Tai. It's a little over 11,000 square feet when we're all done. It's amazing, you know, to be out here. We got helpers.
Wait, you got a 10,000 square foot house out there?
Yeah, we're almost finishing it up now.
Oh man, dope.
Yeah, I'm actually in my condo so they can finish it all and build this other side of the structure and everything, dude. When it's all done, it's gonna be really, really nice to see, man. You have to come over and visit, Dave. I got spare room.
I definitely am going to come visit you in your 10,000 square foot Filipino house. That sounds like incredible.
Come home. Yeah, it's gonna be nice to be. You know, it's nice over here though. Like, you know, and like we're planning 2024. If everything goes well, we're coming back, you know, to go to work this year, and then 2024, I'm going to build another house in Boracay, which is one of the top 10 beaches of the world. You know, Boracay Island. You know, if you guys have never heard about it, you want to Google it. Boracay Island, Philippines. And when you see the
how do you spell it?
BROA, like Bora, with a CAY at the end. And when you see this island, guys, you're going to say, wow, it's like just a long, skinny island. And you can literally walk from one side to the other in 15 minutes. But when you see the sand, and I mean white sand, I'm talking about sand that's as white as my beard almost. And it's soft. It's so soft, like it sticks to your feet like baby powder. But as you walk around, it just disappears. It's crazy. I've never seen sand like this in my life. And here's the crazy part. I've had two friends come over from Hawaii that told me, Ari, I've never been in water this warm. Like the water here, they tell me, is way warmer than when they surf in Hawaii. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. You know, like I never imagined that this was like the hot spot, you know, for the water, but it really is. It's beautiful. It's beautiful blue. You know, like you go to Thailand, you go to Phuket, that water's all like brown. You know, it's dirty looking. It's not like
it's dirty in Costa Rica. Well, it depends on which side. So near Paco, it's just dirty looking, but on the other side of the Caribbean, it's more white, but it's not white like this. Not like that. Yeah.
Remember, I lived near Hako for a while. Hako looks dirty, really dirty.
Yeah,
it's like just like Phuket. But this is, I mean, it's amazing blue. Like you can literally look down in the water and see everything. It's crazy. You know, obviously, as you go out and it gets deeper, then you can't see. But in the edges of the sand where everything is, you can see everything. It's beautiful blue. You know,
so you're going to have a house in Boracay Island, and then your 10,000 square foot house that you're building right now. So you're going to have two houses.
Yeah, we got three because we got the condo, then we got the house in Tai, and then we had, you know, the condo I'm just going to keep renting, and then we're going to have the house in Boracay. Yeah, I really, you know, I want to retire in Boracay. I'm just waiting for him to build a proper hospital because I got a little bit of heart issues. I like to go there and go back. I haven't been back now since the pandemic, but I'm about to go back here this June. We used to go every 90 days. That's the place I used to go for relaxation and just to have, you know, good time, you know, get away. But I think Boracay Island is just one of those places when you go to, you just never want to stop going. It's just so relaxing, man. It's not like, you know, like if you go to Phuket, here's the thing, it's modernized. You know what I mean? You have like, you know, Hard Rock Cafe. You got we don't have any of that. This is a remote place. There's not even a place you can fly into on the island. You got to fly into another island and take about a 20-minute boat ride across to get to the island. Like I said, it's long and skinny. And it is just one of these places when you go there, they have all these hotels like on the front of the beach. Literally, you walk right out of your hotel, walk right into the sand and right into the ocean. It's crazy. And it's just like the way it makes you feel and the way it just puts you back in touch with nature and everything else, man. I just love it, dude. It's one of the
I already want to go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna download like a photo of this and like put it on my dream board or whatever, dude. This is like a dope, you know, looking.
Darren's been over there, came over there twice with me now, and I'll tell you up front, like both times we had crazy trips. I mean, it's a blast. There's so much to do over there, you know, because they got jet skis and parasailing, and they have island hopping, which is really kind of cool because people don't realize that the the Philippines are about 7,200 islands, and when high tide comes, you only have about 5,000. When low tide comes, you got 7,200 or something like that. So you have all these little islands you can hop around and see, on a boat that are all close by. But it's a unique little place over here, man. Very much.
Yeah, I've never been there. I don't actually even know where the Philippines is. So what time is it there right now? Like it's right now in Costa Rica 8:30. What time is it in the Philippines?
10:31 a.m.
10:31 a.m. Okay, so this is, I think the subject I could have made for this interview with you is how to live the dream, because this is like when people talk about living the dream, this is what you're doing. You're living on a beach. You build a 10,000 square foot house. You're building another house on a tropical island in the middle of nowhere that you have to take an extra boat to go across the ocean to get to. You're building another house somewhere else. You got the condo. You know what I mean? So like you obviously, and I know you've created just tons of success. I know you've made money, you lost it, made money that you lost it. You met a dream girl over in the Philippines, and then your life really since then I think has really taken off. I think love does that to people. It
does.
But let's talk about how you're doing this. How you're creating this success, because I think so many people want to have a life like you have.
Well, when I first came here, it was kind of funny, man. I had all these websites that we built for lead generation for SEO. I used to do a bunch of SEO stuff. I would literally sell it on the front end, and I had a bunch of guys that were doing it on the back end for me. And those guys actually were in India, really good guys. They were very good at what they did. And eventually the guy that owned that company, he basically picked it up and moved it to Malaysia. But the guy that was running the office and all the employees, they still wanted to work. So I actually ended up buying part of that BPO and became the guy that was running its business partner. So, we did that, exclusively for the first year that I was here. That's how I made my income pretty much. And, I had done, a lot of email affiliate stuff before. I had a really good partner in that side. His name is Ari Maccabi. Some of you guys know who he is. Some of you guys don't. He's kind of a ghost in the industry, prefers it that way. And I understand because he doesn't have any headaches. The guy can make, a couple $100,000 a month pretty easy, and he has no headaches. So I reached out to him. I told him, I said, I'm back. I'm already doing some SEO stuff, but I'm looking to get back in the affiliate deal. And I wasn't flush like I was before. And, to do a CPA the right way, where you own the product, you build everything out, takes a lot of money. And so I told Chris, I said, look, I need to do something where I can make some cash. And, I've also owned a call center in the past. I mean, you guys know Chris and Chris. And, when they did iPass, I actually had sold my call center, went into their call center, and was trying to clean it up for them because they had a bunch of idiots in there that were actually working. I'm the guy that actually caught all those idiots for them, so I'm the guy that actually kicked them the fuck out of the building too. Yeah, true story. It was kind of funny, man. Like when I heard their phone calls, I was like, man, this is so dirty. But when Chris was generating my leads, Ari Maccabi was generating my leads, not Chris Jones or Chris Campbell. When they were generating my leads, I started doing phone calls, like that's what I did in the past. And, my first month back, I made like 55 grand, out of that. It was good, and then we kept rocking that. But as soon as I had enough money to get busy again, I started getting busy back. I started doing the same stuff, doing, selling whatever I could, supplements, started building my list, and like before the pandemic, my list was about 1.3 million people. But right now I've pretty much obliterated. It's dead because I haven't really used it. I haven't worked since before the pandemic. Actually, about a year before the pandemic, I stopped working for a while. Now I'm about to come back and get busy, but I'm doing something a little different. Darren and I are bringing something to the table. I'm sure you'll be involved at some point. And there'll be some other really well-known guys involved in what we're going to do, because it's all about you guys. It's all about teaching and education. The one thing that I've always felt like, Dave, in this industry, the reason that so many mistakes are made in this industry, the reason so many people get posted on behind MLM is there's nobody out there really teaching something real that's going to tell you, do this, don't do this. And that's the one thing, Darren and I, we learned our lessons hard. We started teaching. We had a huge success ratio. I mean, we had 90% of our people that went to our class went on to not just succeed, but man, a lot of them went on to crush. I mean, some of them are top of the industry, made millions and millions of dollars. And we realized, though, right away that we had to teach people how to identify scams and so on and so forth, because even in the beginning, we couldn't. Guys, I mean, look, the industry, you have to realize, I'm sure you're going to agree with this, Dave, for a long time, it was pretty clean. You were selling products, we were selling products and things like that. But then all of a sudden came all these crazy ass programs and hip scams or hype or however you guys want to call them scams. Like it just became a crazy online world. It wasn't the same as what we were used to. So we got blindsided by it. We weren't ready for it. I mean, we're both very simple people, man, that believe in people doing good. And, we didn't expect people to come to us and say, oh, yeah, it's real, and slide to our face. But that's what happened. Made us look stupid. And that's what pissed me off, made me just take a break because I really didn't want, that type of, reputation. I mean, that's never been my reputation. In over 30 years of network marketing, I have never had somebody call me a scammer. And then I had people call me scammer. I was like, man, it's making me mad as hell. I said, that's not how I operate. I just don't do business like that. I mean, I've literally called scammers out to their face in the past. I mean, at Affiliate Summit East, I stood in the middle of a circle and called out a scammer right to everybody. Pissed me off because I don't believe in that. That's just not my thing. I believe in people buy something, they should get what they're paying for. And if you sell them something, then you make it that way. And so it just blindsided us a little bit because we didn't expect it, made us look stupid. But, now we've got it down. I've got a little system now that helps us identify scams. I want to start teaching all these things to people so people can actually run clean business. They don't have to look over their shoulder all the time. And it's a tough world out there right now. I mean, it really, really is. Like most of the programs that I've seen, this is why I stayed away, is most of them are dirty. They're just things that I didn't want to promote. I don't want my kids growing up saying, oh, Ari Maccabi's a scammer all over life. It just drives me crazy. I hate that.
Right. So yeah, you promote legit stuff, and I know that about you. You're always looking for things with good products. You're always looking for great offers and stuff like that. So, I think that people do struggle with this because I see all the time. One of the things I see, the most common type of scam that you see is people join Ponzi's, and they think they're not Ponzi's, right? So they'll join a Ponzi, they don't think it's a Ponzi, and it does not matter what you say to this kind of person. It's like they join a Ponzi and they're like, no, you don't understand. This isn't a Ponzi. It's paying 2% a day, right? Yeah. like on daily withdrawals. You don't get it. It's not a Ponzi, right? So how do you actually, what are some signs of scams to, that people can be aware of so they can stay away from the scams?
Well, okay. So number one, if it's paying 1% per day, you can guarantee that's a HIP scam. I don't care. When I say HIP, I'm HYIP, high yield investment program. Okay. So if it's paying 1% per day, even if it fluctuates, that's a scam. Just know it, stay away from it. I got caught in those. I didn't know they were a scam the way they were set up. I was one of the guys that got suckered. But once I took a look at this little website, it's called Compound Daily with only one D. So it's like compound without the D and then daily.com. I believe that was it. I used to type that website in, and I used to go in and I would calculate what 1% a day looked like over a year, or 2% a day looked like over a year. And I was like, holy shit, I can make this much money. And I was like, oh, that's awesome, But then all of a sudden I realized, hold up a second. They got $2 billion invested in this company, and you're going to do 2%. Oh, fuck, that's not possible. They'd be richer than the whole world by the end of the year.
It's like they got, it's like $10,000 is like $100 million, and you're like, whoa, these guys got so much money to pay out. It's like, no,
guys, let me just tell you a free tip: math doesn't lie. People do. Okay, and if you can do the math, you can say, okay, that's just not going to work. It's not feasible. It's not realistic. But there are things out there that pay good money. There are venture capital deals, guys. You guys can put money in sometimes and get into those deals. And that's another thing that we're going to start bringing to the table, some of that kind of stuff, because I think those things are really good if you're dealing with real people, real businesses. And, we're probably going to do that through somebody who's already doing it, who has a track record, and, so we don't get steered in the wrong direction. I just don't like making missteps, man. I hate mistakes. That's always been my thing, man. I'm so critical of myself. Like people sometimes will say, oh man, he's beating up on me. Dude, whatever I just did to you, I'm sorry, but I've done it to myself 1,000 times worse. And the reason I do that to myself is I'm a perfectionist. I want to get better at everything I do. When I started doing SEO myself, I wasn't good at it. But over time, I got really good. And I have a friend of mine that's great, so I would listen to him. I would watch what he was doing. I'd learn from some of his stuff, and he's not good at much else, unfortunately, to be honest with you in life, but he's great at SEO. And I would literally learn everything I can from that kid, just so I could pick it up, and now it's been 8-9 years. I haven't done any of it. So I'm out of practice again. That's how it happens in our industry. And people don't realize if you get into promoting something online and you think you're going to do this and you're going to be highly successful and you're going to do it with no education and training, I got news for you. You're wrong. You're about to have a nosedive. You're about to feel beat up, and you might waste a whole bunch of money on something that could have made you a lot of money with just a little bit of somebody pointing you in the right direction to do it the right way. And we both know that, Dave. I mean, think back 15, 20 years. I mean, when all this stuff started to begin online, I was one of the first guys actually doing some of these things. And the reality of it is when you look at some of these things, you're going to find out right away. In the old days, we would do something. We think we had something down. We'd go out $80,000 that month. And then the following month, you'd spend a whole bunch of money getting it geared up, thinking you're going to go crazy, and you'd lose all the $80,000 you made from the month before. Nothing worked. It was like one of those things, man, that you try something, but now, you guys are lucky. You guys went through Russell Brunson, .com Secrets, all these books. We're lucky as individuals to have somebody like that out there teaching, to have people like Darren Little, have people like myself, like you, out there sharing information. Because the real information, the stuff that really works online, if you put it into practice continually over and over and you don't change what you're doing, you just make little tiny tweaks because it's a little different product or something like that. If you just do it right and you follow the system, it's always going to work. And that's what people don't realize. People try to take shortcuts. They think, oh, man, I built this beautiful funnel. Oh, but it took so long to make that funnel because there's so many steps. It's got to go this way and that. And they get all mad, because every time there's a reaction, whether it's a yes or a no, there should be a different step in the funnel. And people get so confused by this stuff, that they just they don't understand it, man. And so having somebody like Russell and all these people out there that are teaching this kind of stuff and having firms like, Rockstar Funnel Builders and all these guys that can help you guys build your funnels now, that go through the training, that apply the training for you, that's really a benefit. We didn't have any of those things. I mean, we just did it blind. It was, you literally tried something, it worked or it didn't. And then you'd write down, this shit didn't work, this shit did. And pretty soon you had a long list of stuff over here that worked and even longer list of shit that didn't work.
Yeah, the list of stuff that doesn't work is way longer.
Like 100 times longer, dude. I literally got to the point on my list where I was writing it down. I was like, this mistake cost me $40,000. This mistake cost me $70,000. This mistake probably cost me everything. I would start writing things down like that, man, and start tracking. And then when Darren and I started teaching, I created this thing called the bomb tracking sheet. It was a Black Ops. I can't remember what it stands for now. I got it in there somewhere, but I created
It's the morning.
this little tracking sheet, and I was literally tracking my posts. I would literally put out a post. I put the URL to the post. I would say I track the likes, the comments, the replies, how many people signed up off the post. I started tracking all of that data. And when I started doing that, I started realizing right then that, man, if I start working on my copy, the copy is really what's bringing people to me, because I'm doing all this organic at the time. I was literally building my list using nothing but Facebook organics, no paid ads, not one. And people didn't believe me. I built probably my first 275,000 people off my list completely organic, 100%. And that's why, now, when I post stuff on Facebook, I mean, I've had 1,500 people ask me for a product, information on a product when I was active. Now, I haven't done it since it's kind of changed, but people have to look at Facebook right now because it is different than when we were doing it before. But the reactions are still there. But Facebook is really moving towards video, and they're getting out of the posts. So your posts need to be more video, like we're doing right now, Dave, than just writing stuff out. It's got to be better.
Yeah. Well, I think the copy is what pulls people, but less people see it now, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is an issue. You have to spend more time audience building, and then you can get stuff in front of a lot of people. But let's talk about this. This whole what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong stuff, right? We both made lists like this. So you say you made, you make lists on what am I doing right? What do you see that people are doing wrong, and what do you see that people are doing right? Just some very common things.
Well, here, I'll speak from my experience. So I would say number one thing is don't jump into anything too quick. When I first got cranking, when I first came back to the side, literally it was 2014. It was the first time I'd promoted anything online ever with my face showing. I mean, I had always done, cost per acquisition type stuff. I'd never really done my network marketing or anything online until 2014. But in 2014, when I came back here, I just joined anything that anybody sent me, man, because I needed to make money. I was desperate. And this is the problem. I think in desperation, we make the worst decisions of all. So my first company I signed up to, and honestly, it took 10 months for them to convince me to join that company, was Traffic Monsoon. Turned out to be a scam. It was a rev share, out of Utah where you're at, like, gosh, man. And it made me so mad. I mean, I was only in it 6 months, but I made decent money. But like everybody else that thought it was real, I didn't withdraw. So all my money, I was stacking it up inside, and I was going to start withdrawing it because I didn't need the money. I was living in the Philippines. It's cheap here. I'm living off peanuts, as I'm trying to save and so I can get back into the CPA world. I think if you're desperate, the thing you need to do more than anything, don't just join anything. Go talk to somebody that has some experience, get some good advice, guys. Reach out to me. I mean, I'm open. I get people in my inbox all the time saying, hey, man, tell me about this, and then I'll teach them about the program. I'll show them even how to go look it up, because that way you can see that it's a scam. So you don't waste your time and money building something that's just going to collapse on you, because you and I both know, bro, it takes a lot out of you to go build and put 290,000 people in the downline. It takes a lot. And the last thing you want to do is have that many people in your downline and have the deal go boom and collapse. The one thing that's cool about it, all those people that you have in underneath you, they all know who you are. So yeah, some of them might follow you a little bit as the leader. Some of them might follow the person they followed to get there because they don't really know you. And that was my situation. Like when I left that company and I wanted to go do something else, some people followed me, some people didn't. And that's okay. But over the time, people started coming to me because I was teaching, I was educating, I was helping people. I mean, for God's sakes, man, I had people call me in the middle of the night and say to me, man, I think I have a virus on my computer. I'd hop on TeamViewer and get on their computer, remove the virus and fix their shit, and then go back to bed. That's just how it was. I helped everybody on my team no matter what it was. And that's how I built my network, man. I built my network by being helpful. And that's another thing I think people forget, Like, think about it. You're brand new, Dave. You're coming online. You don't want to make mistakes. So you're asking sometimes questions, or you're just making dumb decisions. You're getting involved in things, but the person helping you, that person's putting in a lot of hours, man, to do that. But that person earns people's respect through the effort. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, this is where relationships comes from. It comes from helping people. Right?
Yeah, and this is why most people fail. They don't take time to actually help people do something. Don't just create a bunch of videos and think that's to help. That's bullshit. People want personal interaction. Like that was the thing, man. The first guy I partnered up with when I came back, that was his problem. He had no personal interaction. All his personal interaction was Facebook posts and videos. But he didn't actually take time to talk to people. So all his people started coming to me all the time wanting help. And then he got pissed off about it. I'm like, dude, how are you mad at me for helping your people because they want help and you're not even answering their fucking messages? It's like, this is the type of stuff, man, that people flop and they fail in this industry. You got to take care of your people. Okay, don't just think because they're on your email list, you own them, or they join you in one program, you own them. You don't own people. People have the opportunity to go wherever they want, to whoever's going to take care of them, to whoever's going to teach them, whoever's going to treat them right. Take care of your people. I promise you, the people that are communicating with you on Facebook are worth more money than people on your list. I guarantee it, because I've tracked it by the numbers over and over the last decade. It's impossible to compete with people on your Facebook profile on your list. People on your Facebook profile that are constantly communicating will buy from you at least 3 to 4 times higher than they will that people that are just on your email list, guys. Please trust me in this. Please, please, please trust me.
Well, yeah, and I see you doing it. I mean, I the first time, I ran into, the first time I remember having a conversation with somebody that just, like Darren made so much money from just Facebook, because he doesn't do fun. He didn't really have funnels. He just had, Facebook. So I've seen you do this as well, where, when you join something, you'll put a post out, just so many people will just be requesting you for information for what you put out. I think you've gained a reputation and a name that when you put something out, people can make money from it. So, like, how can you use a Facebook account? Let's talk about how to use a Facebook account to make money, because I think a lot of people struggle with this.
Yeah. So, number one, you got to set it all up. Number one, you got to fill out everything. Okay. And I still got now because, Facebook's changed. I need to go back and change some of mine. I'm about to come back. You're going to see that happen. I'm going to do some updates to it. So you'll see some of what I'm talking about right now going to happen on my own. But You need to get into videos, guys. I'm telling you now, you need to be 1 to 2 videos a day. Trust me. Stay away from just typing shit up. You can type something up if it's a business post where you got people you want to ask for information, but you make sure you follow that up with a video. Because I'm going to tell you right now, videos are being seen probably 2, maybe even 3 to 1 over a normal post. Okay. Those are facts. And I've been watching this for the last 2 or 3 months because I'm about to come back. I need to know what's working so I can jump in and make it work immediately. You know what I mean? So make sure you guys are doing videos, man. Get on your video stuff. You know what Dave's doing right here, doing interviews and stuff that can help. You can expose other people also. So you want to be careful. Like Dave's a great marketer. So he's bringing other great marketers out. If you guys are average marketers, I'm going to give you a free tip. Go out and find average marketers that you can actually bring onto your thing. So you can elevate your guys' game together. Because here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to bring somebody onto your call like this one and have all your people end up going to that guy. And it will happen sometimes. I mean, people like to follow people who know what they're doing, who have made money. But for me, I always tell my team, if you join me and you have somebody and you bring them to me, I'm going to make sure they join you. And if they go sign up under me, I'm going to go to the company and make them move them to you, because I don't play that. That's one thing about me. I do not play. You can't join me unless you're my person. Okay. I'm very strict about that. I'm still going to teach you. It doesn't matter if you're in my downline somewhere. I'm still going to teach you just like I signed you up. You can still reach out to me and ask me questions directly, just like I signed you up. But the idea is, when you call me, I want your person on so they learn too, so we can all elevate our game. We can all do better, you know? So in other words, like if Joe Blow goes out and hires, you know, somebody, you know, brings Dan in, Dan comes to me, Dan likes me, Dan starts following me, starts communicating with me. Well, guess what? Joe Blow's still getting paid on that deal. That's right, Kyle, ethics. You know, Joe Blow's still getting paid on that deal. It's his deal. It's his person. But I want Joe Blow on the call with me and Dan, because I want to teach Joe Blow how to do what I'm doing so he can actually be the leader he needs to be. And we forgot about those things. People have gotten so hungry today online, money-wise, that they will step on top of people.
I think that this happens so often. And, you know, it's good to hear that you don't do that, because people need to hear a leader who's getting results, who says, hey, I don't do that. So maybe they stop doing it as well. Because I think that although you might make some money like right away if you kind of steal whoever, eventually it comes.
You lose people's respect. I mean, dude, like, Darren and Darren will tell you, like, when we market something, I would literally probably get 10 times more people than he would. And I would literally tell some of my people, just go sign up under Darren, because I want our legs to build even, because we're always working together. You know, it's like, I want that, you know, like I'll give people away sometimes to my team to help them. I think that's important, you know, even if it's just placement, but sometimes also sponsorship, everything, you know, and if it's affiliate deals, sometimes even affiliate deals, I give away money. Why? It benefits my team. It's not just all about money with me, man. A lot of people are just all about the money, but I honestly think the reason that I was so successful in the past is because I've never been just about the money. And people they don't get that concept. They don't understand it. Like, I have people all tell me all the time, oh, that's BS. You're doing this because you want to make money. Well, if it was all about the money, man, I'd be going out and buying crazy cars and doing all this. I don't do any of that crap. I'm very relaxed, man. I'm very laid back. You know, like, dude, honestly, in this country, I don't even drive my own car. I got a driver. You know, I just don't. I don't want to do any of that. I like to be average, man. Average person, you know, but good at what I do. That's all I care about.
Yeah. Well, that's where I think the money is made, is being like that. You know, because now obviously this is working for you, because, I mean, we very nonchalantly mentioned your 10,000 square foot house that you're building earlier on. And, you know, the little house on the island that you're building, and you're living in the Philippines and you're traveling. It's very obvious that you know what you're doing and you're building. So you help people. You don't steal people's people. You don't join scams. I think this is very important for people to hear, that, like, you know, stay away from things that are scams, right? And that you are legitimately helping people. Like, if somebody comes into your team and they have a problem, they hit you up, you will respond to them, and you're going to get on with them, and you're going to help them, and you're going to help that person win.
Yep, that's right. That's what we have to do, Dave. We have to help each other. I mean, if you look at the world where the world is right now, I'm sorry, if you're not helping somebody, there's a problem with your head, because the world right now is a mess. And I'm not just talking about the U.S. I'm talking about all over the world. You know, you got people hurting. You know, I mean, You're talking about people like, again, I'll bring this up to you again here in the Philippines, but just imagine this. You have somebody that makes $200 a month. That's what they make for an income, $200. That's what they survive on, all their food, their housing, everything, $200 a month. Then for 2 years, they can't go to work. What do you think happened to those people? Those people are homeless. Those people are living in the streets. They're living in little areas like around the Philippines. We call them squatter areas, man. Every time I go by these areas, my heart breaks because I know what's going on. And until you've seen something like this firsthand, you won't change to make the right changes in your life to understand money better. Money is a tool, guys. Please don't let money rule you. It's a tool. Okay. Don't chase it. Let it chase you. There's a difference. And help people around you. Do the right things. I promise you that's going to help you long term. It's going to help people succeed also. And it's going to allow not just you to grow, but everyone around you and everyone around them in their communities to grow. That's the type of thing that we're missing. Honestly, I can't speak for God. I don't know what God was thinking, in the very beginning when allowing the world to become where it is right now. But if you look back at the simplest times in Israel, people obviously, they live in their house. They work out of their house a lot of times. We got away from that. We got all these big businesses and all this stuff. But, like in the United States, we have all these tax breaks for businesses. Why? We should have tax breaks for people. Okay. The Constitution says we the people. It doesn't say we the businesses. Yeah. And this is we failed, man. We failed as a people worldwide, not just Americans, but we have failed to put capitalism in check and care about actual people. Believe me, I'm capitalistic too in my beliefs. I like to make money, but I don't like to make money at the expense of others. And that's the problem that we have in our society today. You got pharmacy companies selling drugs to us that it doesn't cure us. It's just a treatment to get you addicted so they can create more revenue. The FDA needs to be tougher on prescriptions. They need to be tougher on these types of things. It's the same all over the world. People are people, man. We have to help each other, no matter what it is, whether it's business, whether it's physical, whether it's, medical. I mean, it doesn't matter. We need to learn to help each other. I don't, like people ask me all the time, Ari, because I always stick up for some of the Democrats. I didn't like Trump and I still don't like Trump. It's all coming out now, finally. But I also don't like Joe Biden. A lot of people don't really know this. Okay. I don't really talk about him because he's quiet. Yeah, he's made a lot of dumb mistakes too, but who hasn't in the presidential seat, but if you look at us as a Congress is failing way worse than the president ever has. And everybody's bitching about the president. Well, how about Congress? Congress sucks. We got people that have been career politicians their whole life that have done nothing to help people. Every single bill they've ever done doesn't help nobody. It just serves their own benefit and serves their own businesses. The problem in the U.S. we got is you have big business contributing to all these politicians. The moment they stop big business and corporate money from coming into politics is the moment politics becomes all about the people again. And that's how you solve your country. And that's how we have to be as marketers. We have to do the same thing. We got to realize it's not all about the money. It's not all about our will and what we want. You got to help enough people get what they want in life. And pretty soon you'll figure out you've gotten everything you want. That's just how it works.
I think what really helps the big people really is helping the little people.
Yeah.
If you look at if you're a big leader in network marketing, right? The thing that helps you the most is helping the little guy, right? It's not helping the top 10 guys. It's like if the top 10 guys help all the zeros become from level 0 to level 1 and the level 1s to level 2 and the level 2s to level 3 and that's what really helps the big guys too.
That's right. Yeah. And even in our training, I mean, I think when Darren and I come back, one of the things that we're going to have to consider doing is doing some breakout training for leaders, because leaders need to understand how to lead. And then on top of that, you got to have your follower training. You got to have stuff where you can teach them the basics so they know how to plug into their leader and talk to their leader, and they know what to give. This is the thing. Both sides of the coin need to know how each other is going to operate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's crazy, so we're going to have to figure it all out, man. But as people, man, and I think what Darren and I are going to bring to the table probably here this fall, you guys are going to see something that's going to do just that. And here's the cool part. It's going to be cheap. That's the cool thing. You're going to be able to get in for $14 or $15 on the front end and then turn around for $30 a month. And sure, there'll be some upsells and stuff on the back end, but it's going to be something that I think everybody can afford. no matter what level you're at, to get training, real training, because we're going to be doing live training, recorded training. We have all kinds of stuff. And, we're going to be bringing outside guys in. Like, I'm sure I'll be speaking to you saying, I want to bring Dave in, have Dave teach, because you got a wealth of knowledge up in that noggin. I want to bring guys like Ari Maccabi in for a day. I want to bring Ray Higdon in for a day. I want to bring guys in, that teach and train network marketing, but also I want to bring guys like Peter Wynn in, who a lot of people don't know, that teach, CPA stuff. He's the guy that wrote the course on cost per acquisition advertising, got it accredited at Baylor University. Now it's taught in like 20 colleges across the country. And gosh, guys, you want to talk about a monster in the marketing world that nobody knows? It's Peter Wynn. You're talking about a guy that did $155 million in 2017. It's a guy you want to pay attention to. These are the type of people.
I didn't know he was doing that much. I know that he's killing it, but that's pretty.
He crushed it, dude. That's my boy. I've known Peter. We used to go gambling, man. Him and I used to go gambling in Vegas at Caesars and stuff. That's my buddy. He used to go to the craps table and he says, "Man, I don't understand your system. Mathematically, this shouldn't work, but it does." Yes, you're right, Gabriel. That is the way our society has been engineered. The education industry, the food industry, everything. You're right. It's all capitalistic driven stuff, the way it's all set up. We need to break it down and understand that you can be be a capitalist to an extent, but you also have to have something that's good for the people. And until we have a balance, we're still going to have people suffering all around the world, guys. And that's what's tough for me. Look, being in the Philippines and seeing it on such a dramatic scale here, I can promise just about anybody on this phone call that if you came visit me, and there's a couple places I could take you to, that you would never walk away the same. You would be changed forever, just seeing the way some people live. And it would make you living
off. I mean, they're I've seen people that live off of less than $100 a month.
Oh yeah, man. I'm telling you, South America and the Philippines and a few other places around the world are like that, dude. You're right. And it's hard. I mean, like when you lived in Costa Rica, I'm sure you probably traveled all over South America for a while, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So when you travel through these places, you see things that we don't see at home, and you sit there and go, "Oh my gosh!" Like, it really makes you say, "What are we doing? Why isn't somebody helping these people?" Like, as Americans, we're raised in an economy, and we were raised in a situation where we could waste money and still survive and get away. But there are people around this world that they can't waste 10 cents. They're that broke. $1 is 50 pesos here. Okay. A guy works for 14 to 15,000 pesos max in most situations here. That's crazy.
14 to 15,000 pesos, like how
260 bucks.
Yeah, but a month.
Yeah, a month, a whole month.
Yeah, right. Okay, so he's making like $250 a month, and then people are complaining, and they've got an average wage of like $5,000 a month.
Yeah, Yeah, and here's the crazy part. I guarantee he's working harder than you and longer than you too. He's probably working 10 or 12-hour days.
And a lot of times they're smarter than us.
Oh, dude,
a lot of times they speak like 3 languages. We speak like 1 language. They work like 12 hours a day. We work we complain about working like 8, and we're lazy for half. I mean,
you just described my wife and I. So look, I speak 1 language. I used to speak Spanish. I haven't spoken Spanish in a long time, so I've kind of lost it a little bit. But I was raised in the middle of the United States. I grew up speaking 1 language. My wife, she's grew up in the south of the Philippines, in Mindanao, where they speak a language called Visaya. But here where we live, they speak a language called Tagalog, and she speaks English also. She speaks 3. That's just normal for them. It's the same way in Europe, man. Like, my ex-wife is Italian. I lived in Italy for a while and went back and forth between Italy and Poland. She's Italian and half Polish. She would speak Italian, Polish, English, 3 languages. Me, 1 language. Like, this is kind of normal, man, that how people are, man. We have to learn how to build bridges, not burn them. We have to learn how to be receptive to other people's ideas and their way of life. Our way of life is not the greatest on the face of earth. We might think it is as Americans because we see it every single day. But the reality is there's some great things in other parts of the world too. And so the way they do things here for people, it's great. Yep, absolutely, Howard. It's just great, man. Like, the way that they do things here, yes, it's a poor country, but man, during the lockdown here, when we had COVID, the lockdown was very severe. the barangays here, which is like, like a barangay would be like a subdivision kind of. So you'd have like the subdivision leaders basically getting a bunch of food and going around and distributing it to people that are stuck inside their house. Now that's cool to me. Like, when's the last time somebody came to your door in the United States and delivered some free food to you?
Yeah.
Never. I don't ever remember that of it. And these are the things that they do here, to try to help out the people, because there are some people here that are rich. I mean, there's a few billionaires here, but there are not like in the United States. It is mostly lower class. You mostly have a lower class group of people that just don't make enough money to survive, man. And it's hard. I try to teach people and educate people here on getting a job that pays you in dollars, because you could get 2 or 3 clients, doing some VA work. I mean, my wife did that for, about 3-4 years. She was doing VA work, while I was doing network marketing. She was basically learning from me, doing stuff for me. And then at one point in time, we had a bunch of people paying us to do VA work. And then we had other people that we were outsourcing it to that basically were working for, my wife. And she made override on them. And then she made money on each one of those VAs. But each one of those VAs would make 2 or 3 times what the average person here made in a monthly basis, sometimes as much as 4 times what they were making. And here's what's cool. They only had 3 or 4 people that they were helping. So it doesn't take a lot of people. If you guys are in the United States and you need a good VA, reach out to me. I'll find somebody for you. Okay. That's a good thing because, you can help somebody here make really good money just by paying them direct through PayPal or paying them direct through TransferWise now, as it's called. But, there's a lot of things that, we can do to help people like this. I know in the U.S. we say, oh, we have a lot of people here that are unemployed also. Well, they really want a job in the United States. It's really not hard to get a job. That's a good job, Gabriel. Keep doing that. If you guys are out here and you're in the Philippines, reach out to somebody in America. Try to find some. Go to Upwork. Go to some of these websites like Upwork and set up profiles and try to get clients because it can change your whole life. 50,000 pesos a month here is $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month here. Actually, it's like almost 60,000 pesos right now because the dollar peso average is low. But if you guys could actually change somebody's entire life, not just for them, but for their entire family. Guys, you don't realize what it's like here. I mean, most parents here, when they get to be a certain age, it's hard for them to get a job because they want the workforce here young. So the young kids end up paying to take care of the parents. The parents aren't taking care of the kids. It's nuts. Okay, we have to do better as humankind, to teach people the right ways to do stuff, and we have to help them to make more money so they can live a real life and they can take care of their kids. Because it's heartbreaking to see, man, when you got, an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 22-year-old that are your children that should be going to college and should be trying to get a degree or something good so they can earn a real income and do better, or maybe becoming a nurse or something like that, where they're working these jobs that pay them 15,000 pesos so they're support their family because they have to. Yeah. It's like, getting a sideline job for them is damn near impossible because they're already working 12 hours plus they're going through the traffic to get home, which sometimes takes 2-3 hours just to get home or get to work. And then on top of it, you got to get some sleep and you don't have a place really to sleep. You might be sleeping on a floor. I mean, guys, we got it good. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We have it good. I mean, you've seen this all over South America too, Dave. Same shit.
Well, there is one out of, to put this in perspective, if people don't know, 1 out of every 7 people in the world right now, they are in starvation mode. I mean, not many people die of starvation every year, but like they're malnourished, right? Like they don't make enough to eat like 3 solid meals a day. They don't even make enough a lot of time to eat 1 solid meal a day. 1 out of 7. So if there's 7 people, 1 out of every 7 of those people worldwide is in starvation mode right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's tough, dude. Like, I'll put a challenge out there, man. Anybody can do it. I'll be blown away. Take $200 of your own money. Take all the rest of the stuff that you have, your credit cards, everything, and set it aside or lock it in a safe. See how far you can go off $200 a month. See how many days it lasts. Let's see who can make it to the end of the month. Won't happen. We already know it won't happen. It's like, especially in a modern world, it just won't happen. Communities here, they're built different. Like they're built closer knit, people know everybody, like my wife's brother, he's a counselor to barangay, and it's kind of nice, to be related to these guys because both our brothers are actually doing the same thing. And, they're kind of a little bit in politics, but not a lot. But it's nice to see, how they operate and how they, do what they do to actually take care of their fellow barangay people, the people that live in the barangay. It's nice.
Yeah. But JB said, wow, it's so revealing and shocking that so many people live with so little. Yeah.
It really is. It really is, Jay. I mean, and
$1 a day. There's a lot of people. Like, for example, here in Costa Rica, there's people that come up from Venezuela. Okay, I've got some very, very close friends that are Venezuelan. And so they come up here from Venezuela. In Venezuela, of course, they collapsed the whole economy by just overprinting like just tons of money. And to the point where, they got some serious problems in the streets there. But the people come here, and some of them down there, they're making like $1 a day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you're saying that, man. Actually, like I've been to Venezuela before a long, long time ago. But, what you have now is you have a really serious situation because you got Venezuelans are also going into Colombia. They're going into all the places right around that area. They're also even here in the Philippines. We've had people actually arrive on flights from Venezuela. I met my wife and I had to go renew my annual on my permanent. And when I did that, I actually went in. There was a girl standing there. And I was like, man, this girl is Latin. I started talking to her for a second. She said, oh, I just got here from Venezuela. And she goes, we have a few people with us. We're trying to survive and get back on our feet here. And they offered to give us domicile here for a while. So that's why they're here, man. Like, gosh, man, it's crazy to see. And,
so they'll go from a country where they're making $1 an hour to the Philippines so they can make $250 a month.
It's crazy. I mean, look, you can get housing here. I will say this. You can't buy housing here for cheap. Okay, let me just say this. You could rent a condo here for $400 or $500 a month. Very easy. But you can't build or buy a condo for cheap here. You can buy condos cheaper than you can a house, but a house here is expensive to build because we're importing everything. You have to realize we're on an island. We're in the middle of the ocean. Nothing is built here. Like, when my kitchen was done, it took me a year to get my kitchen complete, and I'm not happy with it. But do you think I want to go through changing it again? It's going to take another year. No, because I had to import the crap. It was a nightmare, man. And I know my case is, abnormal. It should have took 6 months, but it's a whole year. They made some mistakes, had to order stuff back and forth between here and China. It was crazy, man, driving me crazy. But, let's see. My strength is teaching people how to effectively use advertising online, paid ads, lower cost, machine learning, game theory. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. In fact, in Black Ops Live, we actually have something we built out that's a game. It's an educational game. You play the game to learn more. And paid ads can change everything. I mean, but this is the thing. When you start talking about poor people, they can't do paid ads. They can't afford them. So I started teaching organics with Darren. We started, it's really weird. When Darren and I got together, I had been a Sandler Sales Institute trainer. So you guys know I had invested in a Sandler franchise with a buddy of mine. And I learned a lot about sales training, from the Sandler methodologies. I mean, prior to Sandler, I had always been like a Brian Tracy guy, Zig Ziglar guy. But I'm going to be honest with you. I love those guys still, but I'm really, truly David H. Sandler all the way. The way he sells based on pain is much more effective. When Darren and I teamed up, what was really weird, and the reason it really kind of came about is because he sold based on pain. And when we actually started talking and doing everything, together, and we realized we're both selling based on pain, it kind of fit because almost everything he was doing up until a certain point was really Sandler. And then all of a sudden there's a switch at the Sandler stuff that continues on that they don't do, but it's good for like real estate. It's good for stuff you want to learn. And so Darren and I've talked about even open up training to actually to do it for real estate people. We want to open up real estate, mortgage professionals. We want to do a lot of stuff like that to actually teach those people also.
That's awesome, dude.
Yep. What's this right here? Oh, I got a chat here. What is this?
Jay Lee says, please share the VA resources for future reference. And yes, I also love the approach of selling based on pain.
Just got to hit me up, Jay. Message me on Facebook, and I'll connect you to a couple people I know, and they can see if they can help you. But I want you to be very picky about who you choose. Make sure they can do what you guys are going to do. Look, if you hire a VA, let me just tell you this. Don't hire somebody and think, okay, I'm paying these people cheap money. They're going to do all the work for me. No, you got to hire the people. You got to teach, educate, train those people. Not once, over and over. You got to have sales meeting with your staff. And you got to do training all the time with these people because they don't know what you want them to do. Let me tell you that now. 99% of them don't know what you want them to do. But if they're going to go out and take you on as a client and you're going to pay them $250 or $300 a month, here's the reality, okay? They're going to have internet. That's going to cost them 5,000 pesos of their money probably right there, okay? Good internet. It's going to probably cost them 5K. So when I say 5K, that's pesos, that's $100. So now they're profiting $150 off you, okay? So you got to teach and train them and give them a way that they can make some bonuses. If you want somebody that's going to be great, what I used to do is pay people like a flat fee and then pay them like $4 a lead. So every time they got a new lead, I would just give them extra money on top of the leads. So that person might make $500 with me. So if you can do something like that, that's how you're going to get it. And yeah, you're right, Gabriel. Ads don't have to be expensive, man. You're right. I've done $5, $10 a day. I mean, I always start my ads at $10 when I was running ads. And whatever actually took off at $10, I would scale up and I'd make even bigger money, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right on that, Gabriel. And you should shoot me a message too if you're doing a lot of ads, because I'm looking for an ad guy to run a bunch of ads. I don't want to manage them anymore. I want to enjoy my family.
Hey, I'm in total agreement, man. I mean, and life is about what, for me, life is about people working together for a common vision, people working together for a common good. That is what life is about. So if you say, like, why is life here? That, for me, that is the reason life exists. It is here so we can have each other, so we can build things together, so we can have a dream together that we can build, so we can work together. And that's why it's so sad to me to see all this suffering. You know, when you're mentioning these people that, you know, they have absolutely nothing, you know, and you give them a job for $250 a month. They don't have a job that's even paying them $250 a month. So
that's right.
This is incredible. And you know, like people watching this is just something to learn. Like, so everybody here paying attention, right? To what just happened, right? So we've got leader on here, Ari. We've got somebody else on here, Gabriel. Gabriel is just mentioning what he does in the comments and interacting. And then, you know, Ari, like right away, he's like, hey, reach out to me. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're just willing to reach out and connect and to interact with people that can help you get to where you want to go in your life, that's how you open up opportunities. You know? Yeah,
I agree. 100% agree with that, Dave. I mean, the possibilities in this world are really unlimited. You know, if you guys actually have a great idea and you believe in it wholeheartedly, get somebody to sign an NDA, non-compete, share the idea with them and try to get somebody to be an investor in your idea. That can actually change your whole life, man. Simple stuff. Or get with somebody like myself or David or Darren or somebody out there, have them teach you, educate you on our business, make your own money here, and then turn around and invest in it and make your own dream come true. Breathe life into your own deal with your own money where you own it all. And you can do that. I mean, you know, I think we both can agree, David. This industry's changed our lives for the better.
Yeah.
It's made us into somebody, you know, and like the people that are helpful, that stick around, you know, they're always going to be in this industry. We're going to be here in some capacity for a long, long, long time. I mean, I've been here over 30 years already, you know, starting this business. And I grew up in the network marketing industry. My pops did Shackley and Herbalife and all that stuff. So, you know, guys, I understand, you know, this business very, very, very well. I understand that a lot of people fail getting into this industry. I also understand that some companies will try to force you into buying too many products. And next thing you know, you're a warehouse. Don't do that shit. That's not what this business is about. This business is about helping people. You don't jam products down people where you create a warehouse in their house, you know, of the company products. That's not what this business is about. It's not about that. People buy products because the products work. So make sure that if you're developing a product, you develop a great product, not just a good one, a great one, extraordinary, with a real benefit to it. Do some studies on it. Do some trials on it. Get documentation and case studies. So when people start looking at your products, you've got something that's different, you know. There's a lot of things out there, man. I think that we can just do better, Dave, you know. We can just do better, you know, as people. You agree?
Yeah, I agree. We could do better at all of it, man. I mean, I think that life is about doing better. Life is about working together. Life is about helping the people that are hurting, you know. So that to me, you know, like when you talk about these things, it really is something, because there's so many people in the world right now that just don't have anything. And when I say they don't have anything, I mean there's a big section of the world that they don't even know where to find water every day. You know. Yeah.
I mean, water is going to be, dude. I got news for you. Like Arizona, all you guys, Colorado River people, I'm sorry, you guys are going to be hurting for water. Probably Utah some too, because you got problems right now with the, Lake Powell, all that stuff. I mean, there's a lot of issues going to happen with water. And here's the unfortunate side: the United States has already made laws saying that we can't collect rainwater. We don't own rain that falls on our own properties anymore. I don't understand how. Yeah, I don't understand how that's possible. And I think Nestle, if I remember correct, it's Nestle will own some of the water in the United States. And this is what's crazy, because I'm telling you, 20, 30 years when water is becoming less and less, or we're having issues, because of climate change and so on and so forth, people are going to say, well, I wish we had listened and done something about climate change versus being a bunch of idiots and say it was fake. Because the reality of it is, I mean, all you got to do is look around the world to see it's real. I mean, look at the coast of California. Look at the southern coast of the United States. Look at Florida. Look at all the storms we've got, guys, happening all over the world that never happened like this in these areas before. And you think climate change is fake? Come on, man.
Just snorkel out and look at the dead coral reef. You know what I mean? Like, this is not, we've killed, Ari, we have killed 1% of the ocean life per year for the last 50 years straight, and actually longer than 50 years now. There's less than half of the ocean life that there was 100 years ago. Way less. I mean, there's a lot less. It's 1% per year. We're just killing off. We're in the middle of a mass extinction right now.
Yeah,
people hear this and their brain glazes over because they're listening to propaganda. But we're not headed towards a mass extinction. We are in the middle of a mass extinction right
now. Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, guys, look, you're killing off your food in the ocean. We're also killing off our food on the land. We're having problems with water already. Okay, if you don't think going into the future it's going to get worse, you're about to get the wake-up call of a lifetime. And I'm sorry, but think about it. When you want a little small bottle of water like this one's actually coffee. I mean, coffee might end up costing you $30 in the future, and a bottle of water might cost you 10 like this. So guess what? You want to survive, you're going to have some money. So the reality of it is you got to have a part-time income. You got to have a sideline hustle. And if you don't have one, you need to figure out what it's going to be. Okay. You have to right now. You got, with an urgency, I'm telling you, with everything in your heart, bank on what I'm telling you is real advice. You need to get your ass a sideline income. Okay. I don't care if you work a full-time job, if you work 50 hours a week and you drive an hour each way, get your ass a sideline income. Because if not, you ain't going to survive in the future, and your kids ain't going to survive in the future. The problem is when you as a parent are poor or don't have enough money to make ends meet, or you're living paycheck to paycheck, you can't save. So you know what happens? Your kids grow up and they're in the same position you were in. You didn't do anything to change the trajectory. You didn't do anything to change the trajectory of your kinship, your people, your family. And for me, that's the thing I always told myself: I'm going to live broke because I want my kids to have something. So everything that I'm building is so my family has something to stay behind. And, like people don't realize this. My wife made a lot of money when I was marketing because she was doing VA stuff. And, a lot of people were paying her, on Bitcoin. When Bitcoin was $200, she was getting paid $200. She'd get paid 15 to 20 Bitcoin sometimes a month for people that were doing, VA work for her. And then she'd have to pay some of that out, but she would profit 5-6 Bitcoins sometimes. And, for a monthly basis for a girl that never had nothing, all she did was set it back and let it stick in an account and save. She made a lot of money. She didn't spend one Bitcoin until last year or 2 years ago. So, I mean, she did great. She did great, man. As a VA person, she made enough pretty much to retire on here. But, for me, I want to work hard, man. Hey, Louis, what's going on, buddy? Happy to see you. There's Filipino right there. It can tell you how hard it is here. Yeah. But yeah, guys, I'm always around. I'm easily available. If you don't know who I am, just go to Dave's page, ask Dave to show you what, where my profile is, and he'll send you a link. But you can hit me up, guys. I
just put it in the comments here. Hold on, let me open it up and all, so people can follow you.
Yeah.
Hold on just 1 second. Let me pop it in there in the comments. Yeah, so this is it. It's just facebook.com/Ari Maccabi. Let me pop that on the screen here. I encourage all of you to follow Ari. I mean, Ari's got great stuff. He's always putting out good content. He legitimately cares about people. You know, he's got opinions that differ, I think, a lot of times from people. You know, like there's you see it a lot with you know, for example, your political opinions are different than a lot of marketers and stuff like this. And he puts out tons of value. And I think the thing that where we all come together on this is that the way you care about people is just legit. It comes from your heart, and you put your work and your money where your mouth is. So, you know, we've been on here for, you know, an hour and 10 minutes here. I think this is good. I think that people have like some real value that they've taken from this today. Just if you could just tell people like one thing that would impact them to take more action than they've ever taken, like what would you tell them?
Oh man, I think I just gave you really the fuel. I told you what's coming in the economy in the future, but here's the reality. If you guys don't start saving money now, okay, the reality of it is by the time we get to where I'm talking about, it's going to be too late. So if you're in your 20s or 30s, by the time you get to be your 40s and 50s, you're going to say, holy shit, I should have listened to this crazy ass white-haired guy on this call because he hit it on the head. And now it's too late for you to do it. The reality is that's how most of us are. You know, like, you know, I can tell you so many things I've said I was going to do, and then all of a sudden it just got to the point where it was too late to do that anymore. You know, like when I fractured my back when I was 35, I said, you know, I'm going to go play basketball again when I get all healed up. 15 years later, I still hadn't done it. 18 years later, I finally picked up a basketball for the first time. And I'm back to playing, but it is not even close to the same, man. I waited too long. And the reality is that's where most of us are. You can't wait so long in life to actually take action. You got to get out and do it. You know, if you had to do one thing, I'm going to tell you up front, the internet would be where I would turn, because to me, the easiest money in the world is made right here. But just don't avoid the scams. The easy money isn't good money, but it's a scam. Just learn something. You know, put it into practice. Don't give up hope on it and work through it. And that's what's going to produce for you. You know, if you guys can learn some discipline where you don't let something sideline you too quick and you stick through it and you go all the way to the end, that's where you're going to make your money. You know, like, and it might take a few tries. I mean, guys, look, I was 7 years in this business before I really started getting some great success. 7 years, consistent. Sure, I'd have success. I'd make $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year out of it, you know, 20 years ago. But here's the reality. Nobody at that time really had a strategy that was consistent that you could work. Okay. You got to find what works for you, develop it, tweak it, constantly track those little tweaks and make sure that those tweaks are effective. Even if they're not effective, reverse it. But find something that works for you, streamline it so you can get things done faster, because the faster you work, the more streamlined your process is, the more sales you're going to make. But you guys got to be able to make the sale. You got to be able to make the close, whether it's helping somebody, signing somebody up into a deal, selling a product. It doesn't matter. You're right, man. You got to, Gabriel, you got to get back to the basics. That's exactly what I was about to say. Get back to the basics and never, ever deviate from them. And like, that's the thing I can tell you. When my stuff takes off and I'm making all this money and I start wanting to tweak things because it's taking up too much time, you can't do that. You got to stay to what's working. Don't change. If you're too busy, that's a great problem to have. Am I right, Dave?
You are right. You are right. So,
you know?
Awesome. So, Ari, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Everybody, thank you for attending. If you got value from this, please follow Ari. I put his Facebook up here. Let me put it up again. Facebook.com/Ari Maccabi. You see it right there on the screen. Follow Ari. You know, make sure to interact with what he puts out there. Make sure to keep coming back on. I'm going to keep bringing great people out to give you value. I'm looking forward to, Ari, by the way, to seeing your launch a little bit later on this year and participating in that if I can. And you know, let me know as well if I can do anything to help you, man. I'm here for you, and you know, I appreciate you coming out and giving value to the audience here.
Yeah, I actually got. I am going to reach out to you. Darren and I are talking about some things, and we are going to reach out to you because we want to pull some people into this, not just us. It's not. We don't want this to be just about us. We want this to be about the industry. We want to do something to actually put the industry on the right trajectory again and the right path. And we can only do that through community. And we want to build the best community in this space. So we're going to be definitely talking to you about that, David. 100%.
Awesome, man.
So,
all right, everybody. We will see you soon, and we appreciate everybody for coming on.